Hey y'all, we're doing it. It's happening. I'm live. I'm getting used to it. I'm a person who goes live now on YouTube once in a while. And I'm excited about today because I'm going to apply these two new makeup products. Yay, Cynthia! Yay. I was just first checking to make sure that people are here and watching. And Cynthia has commented, hi, is this live? It is. And I feel like it's actually just you and me. It's just you and me, Cynthia. Yay, everybody. Ginny, Shannon, Wendy. Hey, Sylvie. Hey, everyone. Okay, great. So usually when I go live, it's sort of like open-ended. Today, I kind of only have half an hour. So for the first time in my little life, I'm actually going to try to keep it short and sweet. And I do have an agenda. It's to apply these. I'm like halfway through doing my makeup today. And so I just need to do brows, a little mascara, cheeks, and lips. And the brow product that I'm going to apply is something that I purchased for a self-sponsored review, but it's just one little thing. And so I didn't want to like make a whole video just about it. But as soon as I saw it, one of you sent it to me actually in an Instagram DM. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I definitely need to review that on my channel. But I'm just going to stick it here into this live, the review. It's not a first impressions. I've been trying it for some days, but I'm going to apply it on camera, talk about it, give the review, and that's the main gig. Hi, everyone. I can see out of the corner of my eye, I can see your little chats going by, and it's really exciting. So I've been planning this for like a week to do a live and just review this one product, which is the Nyx Brow Glue. Kind of promises to be like soap brows in a tube, which is something that I don't know. I've never actually seen something promising that where it seems like the promises might actually be good. So that's why I was intrigued. And then my beloved Simbri sent me the Dior Backstage Glow face palette as a birthday gift. And I couldn't wait to show it on camera too. So I'm incorporating it into this live. I'm going to be putting it on my cheeks. It's in the shade Glitz. It's the O2 one. Really exciting. Something I've wanted like for 100 years. I mean, I think many of you know. So that's cool. And then I'm going to be just putting on mascara and a lip product, and that's going to be it. All right, checking in with the comments. Hi, everybody. Yes, let's get into the meat of the stream. I'm going to try to jump right into the meat of the stream. Oh, Wendy says this leaves white flakes in her brows. I haven't had that experience so far. It's been working for me so far, but it's different from soap brows in a couple of key ways. I'll talk about that as I apply it. I know the Dior palette crying face emoji. I know, Shannon. I know. That's how I felt when I opened it. Hi, Amy. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. I could so easily turn just applying these 4 products to my face into a 2-hour live, and I don't have that kind of time today. So the Nyx Brow Glue, it's goopy. It's in this little tube. I'll hold it up so you can see. Yeah. Actually, can you see in there? See how goopy it is? Yeah. Do you see it squeezing out? It's like very, very, very goopy, really thick. And it has just a regular kind of spoolie thingy. Hairs are on me everywhere. I've had my hair in braids. Actually, I should have waited and done this on camera because I'm pretty pleased with myself. I would have liked to show it to you. I did French braids as I have been doing, every week, and I left them in for days and days. And then they started to get really raggedy in the back. And what I did was I took the 2 ends out and loosened them all the way up to my neck. And then I took all of the hairs and I braided them together into one braid down my back. So for the past 3 or 4 days, I've had 2 braids on my head going down into one braid down my back. And I haven't done that, I think, ever. And I just took it out. That's why we have this texture, which is, covering up the fact that my hair is actually really dirty, like so dirty. Don't look too close because like you can see specks in it. But what was I just talking about? Why did I bring up my hair just now? Oh, because then now, yeah, I just took out the braids and there are hairs everywhere all over my body. And, taking them off of me is something that I usually would cut out of the video. It is tiny. Sylvie says it's tiny. It is kind of tiny. That's a good point. I mean, it's 0.17 ounces. It is quite tiny, but I feel like for this kind of thing, you don't need that much. It'll be interesting though if I continue to use it consistently, how long it lasts, like to see how long it lasts. I think that nothing's ever going to beat just a bar of glycerin soap in terms of like cost per use value, you know? But this, it's much less fussy. You don't have to spray it in and scrape it in and all of that stuff. So that's the benefit. You know, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to test it out. Should we go ahead and do it? Should I put it in? It's so thick. You can see that, right? It's so thick. We could just do that all day. I kind of like this packaging because you can squeeze it, so it makes me feel like I can control how much I get out, and I feel like I'll be able to get every last bit out when I get to the end of the tube. I prefer this like soft squeezy packaging with the spoolie that dips in to one where it's hard and you can't squeeze it. Like a lot of brow things come in, I feel like you can just never scrape the last drop, and with this I feel like I'll be able to scrape the last drop. So that's pretty good. Is it actually like a glue? Hannah is asking this. It's very like glue. I mean, here. It's very that. It's very stretchy. But it's not like glue. It obviously dries down in a way that's much more cosmetically elegant than just actual glue. You know what I mean? It's not like they just put clear Elmer's glue in here and it's crusty all over the tube or anything like that. The thing that's really strange about it, and I'm going to go ahead and put it into my brows while I'm telling you this. The thing that's really strange about it is that it's not very crusty. So it's really thick and goopy, and I'm putting a lot into my brows. And somehow it dries with this like slick feeling and almost slightly bendy feeling texture instead of drying down to a very crunchy, super stiff hold that makes your brow feel like you could sort of break it and like break the firmness, like break whatever is coating each individual brow to make it stay in place. It's like it ends up still feeling sort of bendy and almost slick on the outside, but it does hold my brows all day. And almost nothing does that. And that's the thing that's really cool about it. I think the combination of those things means that I've been able to get sort of a fluffy brow that's not pasted to my face. And yet it still stays up in place. And that's the reason that I've kind of been excited about it. So here's what I've been doing. I've been putting it in the brow like that, and then like letting that one sort of sit, and then going and putting it in the other one. And I'm really putting like a lot of goop in. That's kind of too much, but I've been putting a lot of goop in. So I'm just sticking it in, trying to get every hair coated, sort of encouraging them, my brow hairs, my Henri brow hairs, into a general upward shape, like I do when I first put soap in, just like getting the product in. Yeah, there's a lot in this brow. It's like more than I've ever put in. We'll see how that goes. I got carried away. And you can see already it's a pretty nice shape, right? It's like holding them up in place. That's exactly how I like my brows to look. Great. But because it's still wet and hasn't completely dried, over the next minute or two, my brows will try to go back to their weird demented shape. You know what I mean? They'll like try to fall. So I'm going to let it start setting. I'm going to read some comments, and then I'm going to go back in about a minute and just make sure that they know where they're supposed to, like boss them around a little bit. You know what I mean? Like kind of right before the product finally sets. And then I'll talk about the texture after it sets. Yes, the eyebrow's so fluffy. I know. It's like, It is very much. The comment just passed and I didn't get to see who it was. I'm sorry. But I think it was Sylvie just said if you just dissolved some glycerin soap like into some like if you dissolved a chunk of glycerin soap so that it was this like goopy liquid and you just had it like in a jar, would that work? That basically is what this feels like. It feels like it's that. It does feel like very, very goopy dissolved glycerin soap in a jar, but for some reason it doesn't set because it's in this tube. I don't know if it's because it's in this tube that it doesn't set or if it's because of something that they added in. It stays in that liquid form until you use it. Amy says, "Do you ever miss the expensive gel you used to use?" What I don't even know. I don't even remember the expensive gel that I used to use. You mean like the ABH brow gels, like the kinds of gels I used to use before my no buy year? Never. Never. Once I went to soap, I'm never going back. Well, I mean, Emily. Hi, Emily. Emily Hanhan's here. How long have I been testing it out? About a week. I've worn it every day for about a week. So I'm going to go back in now and just double check, make sure that they know what we're about. And I'm also kind of separating. I feel like they've gotten kind of spiky and stuck together, which is fine. It's a cool look. But I'm sort of, refining the fluff, refining the fluffiness. And at this stage, if I wanted to, I could go in and like sculpt like a sharp edge there if I wanted to make it look a little bit more groomed. Actually, I kind of like that. Let's go with that. And they haven't gotten crunchy, but they're starting to get, I can feel that the product is starting to dry a bit. This brow has much more hair on the side, like this side going around the edge than the other brow. I can't tell what's going on with that, but it's just how it is right now. It's not always like that. It's just how it is right now. So I'm sort of like encouraging them upward. And this is where I'm surprised, Wendy, you commented that you get white flakes in your brows. I feel like if I were going to, they'd start showing up at this stage. Or maybe it's like way later in the day after it's been in for a long time, you're seeing the white flakes. Maybe I just haven't been checking closely enough because it's COVID and I'm distracted and what is life? But I haven't seen any white flakes at any stage. I feel like when I've used brow products that have flaked, it's at this stage when they start to dry and I'm still messing with it. So it might like pill and layer on itself. That's when they start to reveal themselves. So in my experience, from this point onward, they will pretty much stay like this. And for me to get my brows to stay in this shape with just my glycerin soap, I would have to really press them down more firmly to my face. And with this, I don't feel like I have to quite press them down as firmly. And that's been the most exciting thing so far, in addition to just the convenience factor of this. If you were going to take one away from me, I would say take this away. Like I love my soap, my beautiful Ortigia glycerin soap. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's so just covetable and classic. And I really like that it's just like a cardboard package rather than a piece of plastic. I like that it's going to last a long time. I love it. Like nothing's ever going to really replace that in my estimation. But this comes close. And I think that I can safely say that if I were going to be traveling, I would probably take this with me instead of the soap because it would be much more convenient. And I also think that I might end up reaching for this on days where I want it to be very quick. If I'm like in a rush or I don't know, I don't feel like doing like the whole lamination situation. I feel like this is just a tiny bit more versatile in terms of the effect that one can get. But that's just been my experience. Your mileage may vary. And Wendy's in the comments, I think, talking about having had not the best experience with this. So that's, just evidence that it's different for everyone. But I have really, really enjoyed it so far. And I will circle back. In another video, I'll talk more about it. I'll probably be demonstrating it again. I just wanted to hop on here and apply it live with you. And now it's pretty much dried. My brows feel sort of firm and almost slightly slick on the outside, like they've been coated with something slightly slick, and they're dry. You know what it feels like to me? I don't I hope that it works out for me to reach for this, but I think okay, you know when you go to a restaurant where they have, like, food they have, like, a display version of each of the dishes that you can order. Like, I feel like sometimes this is true of sushi restaurant, for example, you go and you look in the little display case and they have, like, the sushi roll that you can get or, like, the sashimi that you can get, and it looks like they made the dish and then sprayed it with some kind of, like, coating adhesive, like, they laminated the entire three-dimensional dish plate of sashimi to preserve it forever so that they wouldn't have to make it again and again every day. I don't know if that's fake food or if it is real food that's been sprayed with some sort of laminate. I feel like that's what's been done to my brows. I feel like they've been sprayed with some sort of, like, laminating thing to, like, preserve them for 5 years in the restaurant case so that when people come in and they're trying to decide which brow they wanna eat, they they'll, they'll see mine, which is to say that it and they'll pick mine, which is to say that it looks more, shiny, like, they feel sort of shiny. When I touch them, I'm not touching my brow hairs, I'm touching, like, the coating on my brow hairs, but they feel pretty much locked in place. Maybe that was an unwise metaphor to try to do, but, but, it's like what you would imagine a brow would feel like if it got sprayed with that same stuff that they spray real food with to make it into fake food, and also kind of like what you would imagine it would look like, because then it's of course not gonna move. Let's move on. Let's move on to the Dior. How are y'all doing there in the comments? I feel like my nose is running again. It always happens when I go live simply because it's gross to wipe it. It does it to spite me. Someone's asking, do the brows look shiny too? I kind of feel like they a little bit do. Like if you look really close up, they a little bit do kind of look like there's something kind of shiny in them. They look a little bit shined up. That's a very good question. Yeah, my hair is super gross, so we'll be washing it tonight. Let's talk about, hi Simbri, you're here just in time. Let's talk about the Dior. Oh, Sarah's asking a really interesting question. Do you think that it does anything for thin brows? It does not add brows to your brows. All it does is change their position. It gives you the ability to reposition them and then they'll stay where you put them. So if you have quite thin brows and one of your strategies for filling them is to get the brow hairs that are there to be brushed up, to like get them into a new position and then to go in and fill in with something, this would be a good product to use for the first stage of that. Although I have to say, I haven't tried layering a pencil or something over top, and I don't know how well that would work. So I think really what this product is designed for is to reposition your brows, just to make them stick up and make them fluffy and make them stay sticking up instead of falling like a sad souffle, which is what my brows will do during the day with almost anything. Okay, let's do it. So I actually haven't had all that much time with this. Simbri sent it to me as a birthday gift. If you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, then maybe you missed that, but it was a birthday gift, something I've wanted forever. And it arrived right on my birthday, which was Saturday, February 27th. I guess we could do swatches. So it's got this soft goldy one. It's got this is, I think, the one that I'm the most inclined towards. It's definitely like it's really blown out. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that with the lighting the way that it is today. I think it's looking brighter in the screen than it looks in person. But this one is sort of like a very, very super pale, neutral leaning pinky beige, that's really my jam. This one's a little more peachy, super good as like a blush for me, honestly. And then I've actually been using the more bronzy one as a blush as well. But they're all pretty glitzy and shimmery and kind of semi-sheer, just pretty. That's pretty decent from what I can tell in the monitor. That's a pretty decent rendering. And I feel like you can also kind of tell from these finger swatches that these two, they are a little bit shinier, and these two, the bottom two, feel a little bit more like there's a balance between shine and color. That has been my experience of using them so far. Yeah, yes, definitely in the swatches you can see that. That's very interesting. So the first two that I swatched there from this big my biggest knuckle down. What am I talking about? My biggest knuckle. The knuckle and my pointer finger, the first two are the more pigmented ones, and then the last two are the more shiny ones. I feel like you can really see the difference in the swatches, but again, I'm not sure how well it's translating in the live stream. Yeah, sorry, people are asking, what is it? What is it? It's the Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette, and it's the second one they released. So the first one released, and this is, this has been the saga for me. Like it released during my no buy year, the first one, the one that has the pink in it. And I wanted it so badly. And it had this sort of like pale whitish highlighter that looked like it might be a replacement for the NARS highlighter that was at the time my favorite. It feels like ancient history to me right now in terms of my preferences and desires. But I wanted it so badly. I think it might be the thing that I was the most like that I wanted the most to break my no buy for during my no buy year. We're talking about 2018. And I was absolutely convinced I was going to buy it on January 1st. And then when January 1st rolled around, my no buy had sort of changed my instincts so much that I had it in my hand in Sephora and I didn't buy it. But I've sort of continued to have that weird push-pull relationship with this product ever since then. And then that year, I guess it was 2019, they came out with this new colorway, which tempted me even more. But I just still never managed to find a way to, put some of my budget towards it or to get myself to do that. And then I think it kind of like sealed over for me. And I was like, well, if I haven't bought it by now, I'm never going to buy it. But I continue to want it. And that's what made it, I mean, Simpri knows this. And that's what made it such a good birthday gift for me. So it's been really, really fun to finally get my hands on it and play around with it after all these years. I have to say, I mean, I do like the product, but I love the packaging. I love that it's like Dior, but it's like this very approachable feeling product, like item. It feels and looks luxurious because it says Dior on it and it's beautifully designed, but it doesn't feel like it's well out of the realm of what I like should be owning or wear. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm over here with like an Hermes handbag of makeup, or a Dior handbag of makeup for that matter. There's just the balance. There's something about the balance of the branding and the packaging, the styling, the shape, the color, everything. I would love it for its own sake, even if I didn't enjoy wearing it, but I have enjoyed wearing it. Okay, I'm going to apply it. Okay. We're doing it. What should we do today? I think I'm just going to do, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start with the darkest one. I'm going to try to apply as many of them as I can while we're here. And I'll just put it right here so you can see the color on me. Just in the very little tippy spot where my cheek would be the most dark if I were like actually blushing, And this is it's supposed to be bronzy, this color, but to me, blush and bronzer are basically the same thing. Actually, here's something I haven't done. I'm going to put it a little bit on my eyes. I'm just using my same brush. I really like using this big, fluffy highlighter brush to apply a wash of color on the eyes in a casual way. Feels sort of like less labored. Is more likely to give me sort of a natural wash. Oh my gosh, I love that. Why haven't I done that yet? I love that. I feel like I'm going to be doing that a lot. And I feel like with this, and it might be because I've become so devoted to cream products lately that all powder products are feeling to me like so powdery. Like these days, and when I say that, I mean like for the past year, every time I put on a powder cheek, I'm like, this is so powdery. Like, how do people wear this? Like, so I feel like it's been really important for me with this to buff and buff and buff and buff, almost like turning it into a cream, like making it part of my skin. But it really does do that. Like it will acquiesce to become sort of part of my skin with that buffing. It's so little product and I feel like it's added so much dimension and shine. So I'm really into that. Okay, let's do just a little bit. So that was the darkest one. And these bottom two, as I've said, they're sort of more pigmented. Like I think of them more as like the blush type ones. And so that was the darker one. I'm just going to put a little bit of the lighter one. Probably this will be barely perceptible, but I want to apply 3 out of the 4 since I'm demonstrating it. It's not actually barely perceptible. The thing that it's adding is like some gold shift. You can see it, right? The shift is more gold than a lot of what I tend to use. And so it really does show up, I feel like, on me. It really makes a difference. And I do feel like it added a little bit more gold shift to my cheeks where the bronze had just had more of like a straight bronzy color. So I'm just like buffing, buffing, buffing. There's nothing left on the brush right now. I'm just buffing, 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 swirling, swirling, getting it to blend into my skin and into itself. This is like what I do when I'm applying makeup alone. I'm just over here like buff, buff, buff. And the C shape from the eyes to the cheek. I really love that. All right, we could do this all day. Let's go in with the creme de la creme. I feel, to me, the creme de la creme in this palette is this one in the upper right-hand corner. And it does have the capacity to be quite shiny, and it also has the capacity to be quite powdery if I don't buff it in. I have learned that in my exuberant, wow, look how shiny. That makes me feel very cliche, but still, it's just very shiny. I mean, it's just very shiny. I'm putting this on my eyelids too. Yeah. There's nothing like applying a highlighter under beauty lights or like with a ring light shining on you. I feel like that's why this whole thing of applying a highlighter on YouTube and then being like, oh, like that's why it's become a cliche because everyone is doing it with like lights coming. Like I have a ring light in front of me and I have a softbox lights on either side, like just a couple feet away. Like I've reached out my hand, I could almost touch the light on this side and also on that side. When you have so much light shining on you from all directions, almost any highlighter looks bananas when you first apply it, right? So I've been applying this for, some days since Saturday, probably every day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days. But I've been doing it over at my vanity with just my regular lights, and it's been incredibly beautiful. But this time, the first time applying it with the beauty lights on, I'm like, can you believe this? You know what I mean? The product is really beautiful, but it's really just the lights. Okay, I need to stop, and I'll tell you. Here's what I've been doing with this, because it's a powder, and I really am into like that super part of the skin, like it looks part of your skin, the glow. That's what I'm really into these days. I've actually been using a spray, which I haven't been doing very much in the past year. I've been using this Flower Beauty Seal the Deal setting spray to just get it to melt in. But I've kind of just been spraying it on my cheeks. Do I not look wet? I feel like I look drenched. Stephanie says it's fine. We're all magpies here. Yeah, I know. I know. That's why I love you guys so much. It's just okay. All right, let's I'm running out of time. I just checked the time. I'm running out of time. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on my mascara, but I'll keep chatting with you guys as I do it. Hey Amira, I'm happy to see you here. Yes, I love the wet cheek look too. I had a meeting, I guess it was on Sunday morning. I had a Zoom meeting related to grant writing stuff. And it was the first morning since my birthday. So I got up and I put on kind of a simple look. Like, I don't usually show up in a meeting like that in like a full face. You know what I mean? So I did kind of what I'm doing today, actually. It was just like a little bit of skin, but this very glowy cheek. And then I got on the meeting and I looked at myself in the Zoom camera and I was like, I was like, I look like I just drenched my face in water. Like it looked so almost like too wet, but I was kind of living for it. I wasn't mad at it. I was just hoping that nobody else was shocked. No. I often think that people are really paying a lot less attention to you in life and in Zoom meetings than you think they are. I think that all the other people in the meeting, they were probably just looking at how they themselves looked on camera and not how I looked. So this is just, I'm still trying to make this Pat McGrath mascara last because I ended up really loving it. The older it got, the more kind of ideal it became for me. It's the Dark Star. It's really gone beyond though. It's gotten quite dry and like you can see it already flaking a little bit onto my lids because at this point I should have let it go, but it's my favorite mascara that I have going right now. So it's been hard to let it go. Maybe this will be its last day. Right, I'm just gonna do upper lashes like that. Pretty simple look. How's everybody doing? Ooh, Stardust asked, who are your favorites on Drag Race UK? Bimini, Bon, Boulash. I did not get it. For the first 2 episodes, I did not get it with Bimini. I was like, could take her or leave her. And since then, I've fallen and I've fallen hard. Like Bimini is up there. Bimini is probably one of my favorite queens ever to be on the entire franchise of Drag Race. I think I'm gonna do actually a Bimini Bon Boulash makeup look on my channel. I'm so into the like Bimini inspired by Vivienne Westwood, the totally blanked out like bleached brows or like a very, very thin brow, super powdered face, and a really like messy overlined red lip. I'm so into it. And it's not like it never happens, but it's so exciting for me because I've been doing this for a while now. You know what I mean? Like makeup stuff, videos. When I see a makeup look or I come across a person whose makeup specifically makes me feel so excited that I'm like, I want to try that. I want to do that. As recently happened to me with Terry Barber around the new year. I was so into it. And then I really went down the rabbit hole and I spent like a month imitating Terry Barber and studying Terry Barber. I'm kind of feeling that like that about Bimini. And I also just love her sweet spirit and this sense of like being fierce and being a real competitor and being very not a shrinking violet, like a powerful presence, but a loving presence and not being super catty and not being someone who really lashes out and having that kind of like poise and gentle presence, but also like fire. I just feel like we need more of that on the TV. You know what I mean? Like we need more of that in our culture. We need more people who lead that way. And you can tell I'm completely gaga. I'm like fangirling over Bimini over here. I also, of course, love Lawrence Chaney and I wouldn't be mad if she won. But my heart's with Bimini. And we're loving Drag Race UK so much. So here's something that I've been applying a lot lately. This is so interesting. This is the M Cosmetics lip cushion. They sent this to me and I was surprised based on the advertising. I was surprised at how pigmented it is. And I don't tend to like super pigmented and also shiny lip products. I find that they can be hard to control, like thick, shiny, pigmented gloss type things. So I didn't think I was going to like it. I almost decluttered it. I almost didn't keep it through a reckoning or two. And I just kept it and I kept trying it because I didn't feel like I'd given it a chance. And just in the past couple of weeks, I've been wearing it almost every day. I feel like if you apply it thinly enough, if I do, and I really work it into my lips, it can look quite natural even on a no makeup day. And that's what I require of a product like this. SB's here. Hi, my dear SB. I'm so happy to see you in the comments. And SB says, I keep waiting for you to put your mole back on. I didn't bring anything over here with which to put my mole back on. So I might have to do it later. But I'm gonna put this lip. I'm gonna put this lip on. I already have, by the way, a little bit of glossy stuff on my lips. I think obviously it's just a very thin layer of that Clarins Instant Light Perfector thing that I really, really love. So you'll see actually how this adds color as well as shine. And I feel like what I'm doing is just I'm rubbing it like over my lip line, like the line where my lip meets the skin of my face, and sort of making it messy. So it has that kind of like messy, shiny look. But it's added some color and richness. It's in the shade Venetian Rose. And I think that it's just a good My Lips but better color for me. It's a little bit less intensely like a lipstick color or I don't know, like a lip color look than I thought it was when I first started wearing it. So I've been just wearing it around all the time and I wanted to let you guys know. You can see it's a pretty natural look and it goes pretty well with it, right? And it's nourishing, it's nice, it's easy to apply. I've come around, okay? Cosmetics Infinite Cushion Lip Tinted Luminizer in Venetian Rose. I've come around. The word infinite isn't in the title. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. All right, it's time. It's time to pay the price. It's time for me to go. Quick recap. I really like this NYX Brow Glue thingy. I don't love it more than my soap, but I like it enough that I think I'll probably be alternating between them. And if you just joined during it and you didn't see the review at the beginning, then after this live is over, it'll post and you can go back and watch it and you can get all of the tea and you can see me applying it. And you can see my brows are pretty much exactly the way they were when I finished applying it about 20 minutes ago. Simbri, thank you so much. This was a great gift and it's been a delight to use it. I guess the main takeaways for this would be the reflect is pretty gold in it. And that actually does make it stand out in my collection, but it's sheer enough, it's pale enough, it can be buffed into my skin enough that it's still wearable for me, even though I don't usually wear things with a gold reflect. And the top two are more sheer and less pigmented than the bottom two. The bottom two are sort of like blushes for me, and the top two are sort of like highlighters. And buffing it and buffing it and buffing it into the skin is the key. That's how I feel about this so far. Very, very beautiful. Love it so much. Love it as much as an object. Love it. I love it as much as an object as I love it as a product, which is, fine with me. That's how we roll over here. And that's it. Those are the two things that I was reviewing. And this has been an absolute delight. I'm just going to kiki with you guys in the comments for one more minute and then I have to go. Thanks, Simbri. She says, happy late birthday. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Bobby. Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here, Emily. It's so good to see you here. Okay, I better go. It's so rainy here. It's a very rainy, cozy. It's very strange. It's never like this in LA. It's like blustery and rainy and gray, and the barometric pressure is making us all wacky over here. This was super fun. Bye, Wendy. Bye, Maria. Bye, Flora. Bye, Shannon. Thank you all for being here. And you know what I'm going to say. Don't forget to take extra good care of yourself today so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.